Hey, Shalom. First, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole elect, the house of David. Let's get into this. This is going to be a Lambback off the lesson of men that Zaquan Elder Ayash, you know, the Elder Ayash of the Mississippi camp, went into. Better things ahead, there's a land back to that lesson because there are better things ahead, you know, better things ahead because right now, what the average person look for, they look for a good car, a good home, an apartment, maybe a partner, a relationship, because that's something hard to obtain in our current time. A committed relationship. Y'all committed into building that relationship, maintaining that relationship, not being underwater, as in not being drowned by payments, not having enough to put food on the table, better things to come, better things are ahead, because in the times when Yahweh Shai returns, guess what? You're going to have more than an apartment or a house. You're going to have a mansion. You're going to have a chariot. Let's get on that. You're going to have a chariot. Because once the elect is beamed up, they're going to be what? Celebrating with the Lord. They're going to be rejoicing, looking down on America burning. So that chariot means what? It's big enough to house the world. It's big enough to house more than 144,000 men. It's big enough to house, because I know people like, it's only enough room. I mean, there's some doctors out there say it's not enough room on that chariot. Nah. The chariot's going to be big enough to house the whole world. Because what Ezra, not Ezra's, I forget what prophet said, the chariot, when he had a vision of the chariot, he said it like a grave mountain. He could not tell one end from the other, roughly paraphrasing. So meaning what? The chariot, the Yahweh Shai's chariot is humongous. That fathership is humongous. And the chariots, he gonna give his men. We can't tell how big those gonna be. So you go from an apartment or a house to a chariot. Then you can build up your mansions on earth, because the chariots can be your mobile home. Because you're gonna have to branch out into space. Sooner or later, Israel is branching out into space. And this video is gonna be me more ranting, trying to paint this picture with words for y'all. But of course I'm gonna get precepts. I'm gonna always get precepts. But you gotta think. That chair is gonna be your mobile home. So you go from your apartment or a house to a chariot, and that chariot is gonna be more decked out than any of these houses, apartments gonna be. I'm speaking as a man when I say that, but of course, what your house shot brings is gonna be beautiful. But yeah, that's gonna be a mobile home, and you can branch out into space. You can live in space. Because like the fine details of prophecies, the in between of prophecies, we don't know. We have to experience it. We have to experience it. Like between these two prophecies, life goes on. Some things gonna be happening. But the chariot's salvation is prophecy. Now I'm just speculating. It might be some brothers, that might not, want to live on earth. Might just want to, start that thing off in the chariot. I'm one of them. If, if we're allowed to do that, because it's whatever your house shines on, It's whatever your house shot got in plan. If he say do that on earth, we're going to do it on the earth. He said, hey, Israel spread however they want. I'm gonna be, I ain't touching down. I'm gonna be on them chariots. On time we touch down, to do, to follow orders that Yahweh gives, Yahweh Shai 144,000, because, the commands gonna come from on high and, trickle down, do my duty business or whatever, and hop my head back in that chariot. Because it's space, the heavens, more to explore than this world. And also, I'm going to get the scripture because I'm starting to rant a little bit too much. Letting y'all come in my mind, but I'm going to just give y'all a little peek what I think about. Because you be able to branch out into space, and there's so much space, like, you can travel without being feeling like you're crowded, You can start your own branch. This area is owned by this brother and his houses, because I believe, I speak as a man when I say this. We might have the know-how, the ingenuity to how to build chariots, right? So we might have our chariot in this area of space. Once our house, once you multiply, your children might want to branch out, build a chariot next to your chariot, and in that area of space, there's like chariots for each of your your children, your descendants, and now you got a small city of chariots, Just thinking about it, But yeah, we have better things ahead. We have better things coming, Food gonna be food again. Because what we have, it's always gotta be touched by this man before we get it. It gotta be touched by this man before we get it. He gotta hit it with his GMOs. He gotta put some kind of parasite on it. He gotta do something. He gotta try to knock the seeds out. Give you fake fruit. He gotta try to print the fruit. He gotta try to print the meat. Nah, the earth, where you're gonna go back to eating real food, unmanipulated food. Then the earth gonna give more. I forgot that scripture that says that, but the earth is going to yield more than it did the first time. Yahweh Shai is gonna bring back beauty. He's about what? Scripture says he's coming with what? Healing in his wings. That's for the nation of Israel and earth. And life as well. The teeth are gonna get thrown in 1,000 years of servitude, slavery, Then Esau gonna be wiped out. But after that, they gonna get to enjoy it too. In hell. You know how Israel is. The only nigga that's not getting no relief is Esau Edom, Only nigga that's not getting relief is Esau Edom. You know? Shit, I'm just on the slide. I'm just thinking about that shit. Yeah. People, first Israel gonna get healed, this earth gonna get healed, and after 1,000 years, the rest of the nation besides Esau Edom is gonna be healed because he's gonna be gone. You know? You know? Listen to this. This is Psalms. Chapter 16, verse 11. Listen. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy, and at thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. Forever. Israel gonna have immortality and forever to enjoy every pleasure. Every pleasure. You know? We got a fruit on this side, but when Yahweh Shai open us up, you know, to creation, we start tapping into things we couldn't because of two reasons. Esau Edom kept them back or hit them or polluted them. You know, that falls on the umbrella of Esau. Or two, it's some things we can't explore because these bodies are so damn weak. There's fruits that we can't taste because it's just straight poison to us. Imagine being able to eat those fruit because what? They're no longer poison to you. I forget, it's this tree that gives off white sap. But this white sap is poisonous. You know? It probably tastes like something we never experienced. But when you get them new bodies, them indestructible bodies, you'll be able to dab into that. You know? You'll be able to put opium in your wine. Cocaine in your wine. I know that sounds funny, but Esau Edom has, made those, has given those, how to call them? I want to call them herbs. I'm not sure they are. I'm going to say plants. Just say plants. Has given those plants a bad rep, because how people go about using them and abusing them, abusing them, But used in the way they was meant to be used, because Yahweh Shai created them plants. Him before 144,000, They created them plants. How are supposed to be, used? How are they actually supposed to be used? Utilized so that people can benefit from them. Life is supposed to be pleasant. It's supposed to be a garden. What? No thorns or thistles. And it's going to go back to that. It's going to go back to that. People going to be actually enjoy the earth. Watch. Through Yahweh Shai, Israel will be able to give pleasure to the rest of the world in creation after the 1,000 years, That 1,000 years is it's exclusive Israel. It's exclusively Israel, But we'll be able to what? We'll be able to lend that junk out like, hey, check this out, check that out, it's just so much things ahead, you know. It's some things we haven't truly been able to tap into because we're not empowered to do so. You know, each time Jake does, come up with something incredible inside his system, what he do? He'll assassinate or blow something up or sabotage or steal. You know, what? Hindering, true evolution. Not evolution. Fuck that word I'm looking for. The word slipped my mind. But he's hindering that because what Jacob tried to do the right way, beneficial, so it can be free to people, so people can have access to it, free access to it. But he'd be like, nah, free, and it's beneficial. Hell nah. He want to poison it. Make sure he gain it. Why he's poisoning you? Why you poison? Why you're buying his poison? He's making a profit out on it. This man's the devil, man. Let me get this. This is Matthew chapter 6, verse 19. Listen. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust does corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasure in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through or steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And that's just completely true because if your mind is not set on these things to come, these better things to come, it's gonna be set on what Esau Edom can give you, what you can get out of this diminished and corruptible life. Your treasures, this man cars that's meant to be, that's built to be, run down. That's built to run down. That's built not to last purposely. Your treasure is that of the corruptible, clothes that's gonna mess up sooner or later. Rip in time, wear in time. I remember clothes used to last forever back in the day, unless you got, it got tore up. You run into something, it rip or something, or you got in a fight, or so on and so forth. But clothes used to actually last, to the point where you can hand it down to your son, your grandson, or your daughter, your granddaughter. Now, after a few watches, this thing got holes in it. Your shirt got holes in it, your pants got holes in it, your shoes starting to rip up. You can't wear them too much because you don't want to mess them up. You ain't had that shoes for about, 5 years, you only wore them twice. You see, if your mind is set on this place running everlasting, this earth age running everlasting, if your mindset is on Yahweh never returning, then your mind is in the gutter. Not in a perverse way, but is in a dark place. Is in a dark place. Because some people like them, there's some people that actually believe that America won't last, but they still don't believe Yahweh Shai is going to return. And he is returning. He is returning. He's going to depart. He's going to how to say this? He's going to go forth from the right hand of Yahweh and come and conquer this creation, conquer this world, you know? And if you don't have faith in that, you lost. You lost. If you don't believe Yahweh Shai's returning, you lost. I'm talking to you, the 12 tribes, you know? So yeah, man, it's better things to come. It's better things ahead, you know? Just think on space. There's another video, I'll probably do a part 3 of this. It's a video about, it's a fictional character, but I want to do a video on him, you know, so you can, you know, just think upon, you know, better things ahead, you know? Because I like the way he went at pretty, he didn't go at too bad, but he went at bad because he's like somewhat the antagonist. You know, he became somewhat the antagonist. You know, because he, you know, he was after revenge and stuff like that, which is, you know, righteous because it was a righteous, you know, a righteous anger he was dealing with. But yeah, I'm going to say that for the next video. But yeah, listen, better things are ahead. Just think upon those things. Think upon spiritual power. You flying in space. You flying across the world, you know. You moving like lightning, you know. You causing things to grow with a wave of your hand, you know. Just think about better things. Because the impossible will become the possible for the Israelite. The impossible will become the possible for the Israelite through Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, with that, I hope you was edified. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, peace and blessings to the whole elect, the house of David. Until next time, Yahweh willing, shalom.